Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our practice, our fire ceremony today. Today we're focusing and working with the goddess Lakshmi, and a lot of you know about my story of Lakshmi, but some of you don't. So I was introduced to Lakshmi by a teacher named Sally Kempton many years ago, and I had a pretty direct experience of her in a meditation that really began an unfolding that I feel supported a tremendous amount of grief. That is very much a big part of my spiritual path, is grief and holding grief, and also connecting to that sustenance and that sustaining force of the universe and existence, and what sustains us through the intense expansions and contractions that we naturally go through on the path, on both, I feel, on a soul level and also on a nervous system level, right? The ways that we expand and we contract over time in this alchemical process. And the fire, as we know, is such a potent way to feed the very essence of our being, right? Our bodies are vessels for fire. And through this practice, we get to feed the mouth of the fire, right? And so if you want to put in the chat just anything you're noticing in your body or where you are, if you'd like to share where you are in the world or what land you're on, and anything that you're bringing into the space, any grief, any prayers that want to be held, you're all welcome to share that in the chat. We usually have a pretty vibrant chat happening, but you're not, whatever works for you in terms of being on screen or being off screen, like really just letting this hour be time to go deep into our process and practice. In community, there's a lot of energy, obviously, that gets nurtured when we're together. So you're welcome to put your camera on or have your camera off. The fire is ready. Smells amazing. The marigolds. Come, you have to move this way more. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay. So I have a poem that I want to read by Maya Angelou. Hold on. Oh, B is here. So B, you can let people in. So think about that. Hi, B. Lakshmi is also traditionally known as that essence of our unconditional love nature, our true nature, that is that unbound, unconditional love that is such a potent transformational force. And I feel like so much of what, we work with, right, in this practice. So I want to read this poem to open up the space. I like to put it in the chat for the visual folks, but I don't think I can.
Is your computer misbehaving in general today?
My computer is,
This is Lakshmi.
Lakshmi is misbehaving. I always feel like the beauty of, mantra and encountering the directness of a field of consciousness, right? Which is what the goddesses are in this tradition, is you experience the directness of that potency, love, beauty, generosity, worth, right? Our truth, our birthright, that is worth, that is beauty, that is love, or we experience the opposite, right? You experience unworthiness, you experience lack, real work mirrors what it is that's right here inside of us, and it also mirrors what's in between us and that, right? In my experience and in a lot of folks in this space. So just kind of allowing there to be an openness around all of it, right? And really coming deeper and deeper into the space this morning, into your true prayer, into what feels the most alive and what feels even the most edgy for you to desire, the most edgy for you to potentially have held and related to in a new way. Okay, I'm going to share the screen so you can see, for some of you that like to.
I'm going to talk about desire, whatever.
That are more visual. Okay, great. Let me just read this poem and then we'll get into it. In and out of time, the sun has come, the mists have gone. We see in the distance our long way home. I was always yours to have. You were always mine. We have loved each other in and out of time. When the first stone looked upon the blazing sun, and the first trees snuggled up from the forest floor, I have always loved you more. You freed your braids, you gave your hair to the breeze. It hung like a hive of honeybees. I reached in the mass for the sweet honeycomb there. God, how I love your hair. You saw me bludgeoned by circumstance, lost, injured, hurt by chance. I screamed to the heavens, loudly screamed, trying to change our nightmares into dreams. The sun has come, the mists have gone. We see in our distance our long way home. I was always yours to have, and you were always mine. We have each other in and out, in and out, in and out of time. You want to share? And I'm going to read a little bit what's happening in the chat.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's morning for us anyway. It's nice to see so many people here today. So this is a big day for us. Just pretty much right after this, we're going to get in the car and go to the airport because I'm going to India for a pilgrimage for 2 weeks. And so I can feel that energy of India and that energy of pilgrimage very strong today. So part of what we're doing is we're invoking blessings for that. And, it's not just for me. I'm not going on a vacation. I'm going, as a representative of the community in a certain way. And, the work that I do there and the prayers and the kind of visioning and all of that is for this, it's for this service. And, today, when we're talking about Lakshmi, is this a good time to talk about desire? It's working with desire. And desire is one of these things on the spiritual path that is very important. It's more common, I guess, like on the first I don't know, the first blush of when you look at Buddhist teachings, you look at yoga teachings, where they talk about how important it is to get your desires in check, or to not, that desire is a root of suffering, in the case of Buddhism. But then further along on the path, we learn that there are different kinds of desire. And that some of those desires, the ones that are born out of our sense of incompleteness and, like we say, trying to, fill a God-sized hole that we're all born with, that those really do lead to suffering. But then there are other kinds of desires, like our intentions or like our deep heart desires, that are really important to get clear about, because they become the spiritual DNA of our life. So I wanted to just share a little like show and tell with everyone. So this is called a kamandalu. This is a very kind of Indian concept that I'm sharing with you right now, but this is a kamandalu, which is sometimes called a beggar's bowl, a begging bowl. And so a traditional sannyasi, like a traditional renunciate, a traditional fakir, a traditional monk, the really hardcore ones, the only thing they own is a piece of cloth that they can wear and a stick and a kamandalu. And the kamandalu for that sadhu, they use it for water, they use it for food, they use it for begging, and begging for alms, whether it be food or money or whatever it is. And the idea with that sort of ideal of that renunciate is that this is all of our desires. All of our desires should fit into this. This is all we need. And everything else is just, God. It's a beautiful, poetic kind of thing. For those of us, we're not renunciates. We live in the world. We have very full lives. But the word kamandalu that this is, the root of it is kama, which is desire. And it also means pleasure. And so this is a beautiful symbol of Lakshmi and like the process of clarifying what our desires really are. Like, what are the really important desires? What are the desires that we're desiring all the time that are driving us crazy that aren't actually that important to us, that we can let go of? And what are those desires that are actually in us, that are coming in us from God, from Goddess, from the divine, to take us to the next blessing in our life? I was thinking about like desire, when you have desire for a person, like romantic desire, sexual desire, and how that can be a very surface kind of a thing, and it can also be a very deep thing. But like the desire that you have for your person, it's like the desire that you had once upon a time, that initial spark, but it ended up being the person that you're spending your life with. And if you tune into it, it's a different quality. Right? It's like it's coming from a completely different place. And so it's like when we're thinking about Lakshmi and abundance, this is a time that I think it's so important for people to get so clear and not waste it's like your desire is so precious. Your heart is so precious. Your heart energies are so precious, and not to waste them, but to like do these practices to make that heart stronger, to make that desire organ even stronger, but also be really clear so that we're pointing it in the directions of that which is really important for it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I'm feeling like, and I'm curious, what are you all hearing? We always love to hear in the chat or read in the chat
what you're hearing, you know, and what we're sharing, and also what's coming through to your intuition that you're not hearing that's being said, because this is a community event. So really what you bring into the space is really important as well. And I was just feeling into, when you were sharing that, Harshada, how, you know, desire, you know, as somebody who feels really deeply devoted to serving something wider and more expressed in its authenticity and love than myself, that desire, oftentimes it's like, if there's a desire and then it's met and it's fulfilled, when you have that deeper sense of like why you're here, not like exactly like on the outside why, but that deeper inner feeling of like, I know there's something more that I meant to do here. And sometimes that gets really clear, oftentimes through loss and, you know, through hardship and through adversity and challenge. It's like the desire manifests, and then it's not just like, oh, good, I get this thing. It's like, oh, there is, you know, it gives us hope and it gives us faith that there is something bigger than us, which I think is important. Like, I think that that's something I don't really hear talked about a lot, but I know for me, I'm like, I don't even really care about getting the thing as much as I'm like, okay, somebody's fucking listening. Like, I'm not alone out here. What the fuck, you know? And then, you know, as somebody who, I'm 43 years old, it's not like I've had plenty of dreams and wishes and desires that haven't manifested and might never manifest in this lifetime. So then what do I do with that? And how do I keep surrendering that? And how do I know what the true desire really is in this deeper way? For me, really comes from offering it. It's like the greatest guardianship and protection that we need, I think, spiritually, energetically, psychologically. It's like, is, you know, to be in relationship to the elemental in this intense way, you know? And I know for me, that's where all the things that beyond my wildest dreams, you know, things are co-created, you know, between myself and the divine, and then all these other pieces that just kind of, you know, are a part of what I'm here to relate to, what I'm here to integrate, and the things that don't manifest, you know, that are pulling me back closer and closer to that God within myself, you know. And to me, that's my highest, I don't know if highest, but like my deepest wish and priority is to experience liberation, and to experience liberation from the constant, you know, pulls and pushes of, you know, everything in my life, you know, and to really be able to be in touch with that essence of love, you know, like I said, in that transformational way, not in that like transactional, like light, like blah, blah, blah bullshit way, but the kind of love that really sticks fucking with it. You know what I mean? And that is still grieving all these years later, that doesn't stop grieving, you know, because other people are confused of why you're still grieving, or doesn't stop speaking up about, you know, the genocides and the ecocide, even just because other people have the ability to just move on, you know, like we're not the kind of people that just move on. And I could say that safely because I know a lot of you, right? And there's a reason for that. It's not because there's something, I mean, there's probably, at least for myself, there's also, you know, a lot of things wrong with me, but, you know, that Lakshmi and that desire piece that you're sharing about, I feel like, you know, it gives us access to those deeper threads of like why, and also can bring us the relief and the soothing, like that we actually do need, you know, and at the same time, you know, keeps our fire lit to keep putting our feet like to the fire of suffering, you know, and really allowing us to know that there's a way to alchemize that. And also part of alchemizing it is just being with it, and being with it within ourselves in community and not alone, which is a big part of it.
And that's a really big thing. It is, and a big distinction, I think also that we should make is that part of it, oftentimes this conversation is very, very singular. It's like, what do I desire? What do I want to manifest? You know, even if it's like beautiful things, but none of us are alone. There's we are in a we, whether we're conscious of that or not, or whether that we is consciousness is conscious or not. Sometimes our we is very unconscious, and we don't understand why we're not able to like make things happen. And then we look at the web of people that we're woven in with, and then we're like, oh, maybe this is what it is. But when we think about what can we do, what do we desire? What is the God-sized hole that we are trying to fill? And the we can be our family, the we can be our social network, the we can be our society. And we have to look at that. We're part of society. We're part of this horrible society that's doing these atrocious things. We are part of that.
Mm.
And that is fulfilling some desire that we have had that have gone unchecked for many generations.
Mm.
We got to look at all of that. So that's also where this grief comes in.
Mm.
Where it's like, yes, let's celebrate. We've got healthy kids and electricity. Like just now when we had forgot to plug in the unit here. And first of all, the unit, like in India, a laptop computer would go on someone's Lakshmi Puja because this is like technology. It's precious, and like 2 generations ago, people didn't have stuff like this. So it's like, this is Lakshmi, this very machine. But then, I went and was like plugging it in and just thinking, this is Lakshmi, electricity. Like a few generations ago, it wasn't an assumed thing that we would have electricity. In India, still, it's not assumed. So that at the same time that we celebrate that our kids are healthy and our kids are happy, we have to understand that our kids are not just the 2 that live here. That our kids are also down the block suffering in poverty and around the other side of the world having bombs dropped on them. And our kids are also dropping those bombs, for that matter. Then it's a whole other kind of like, then you see this energy that we're calling in. We can't do it alone. We can't any individual do it alone. We need to be together in a group. But also, even as a group, we can't do it without that power. There's no way that we can live with these giant fucking contradictions and not just go crazy. And like how we're all already not like just with needles in our arms right now. I don't know, with the kind of contradictions that we have to live in. And here we feel bad if we eat night cereal. Even we have such a sober household. Night cereal.
It's so embarrassing that you said that.
We try to keep it out of the house because
I'm like, last night I was like, the last of the cereal, and I was like so fucking pissed. And hilarious to think about it now because I was actually pissed. And I didn't even have an awareness of it at the time. You just said that.
But for us, it's this kind of distinct thing, thank goddess. But for a lot of society, we're just living in night city. And so like when we look at Lakshmi, when we look at like calling in these forces of, Lakshmi is abundance, Lakshmi is wealth, but Lakshmi is also beauty and clarity. She loves clarity. She loves us to know every penny that we have accounted for and every penny that we owe. She loves to have things clean and neat and orderly. She likes to have us neat and clean and orderly and like take a shower, even if we took one yesterday, like to just baptize ourselves. One last thing I'll say. Last night, one of the men in my men's group, really beautiful man, he had a birthday celebration and we went to, there's hot springs out in the kind of wilderness here. So he wanted to have a celebration in the hot springs. So we were in the hot springs under the full moon. And I mean, just imagine like 6 middle-aged naked men standing around a birthday cake, like out in the canyon, under the moon. It was pretty peak Ojai. But in our conversation, we were talking about, a lot of these men have done like really high level men's work, as I have. And they were talking about like this really kind of fancy men's thing that they went to that David did with like all these like CEOs and like really high powered, like entrepreneur men and stuff. And they were saying how like every single one of them, their ultimate desire was freedom, individual freedom.
Mm.
And how the teacher just like went after them. It was like, no, fuck no, that's not it. The ultimate thing is service.
Mm.
Like the ultimate thing is you get free, okay, you get free in order to ultimately serve. Ultimately, you get free to be able to sacrifice. And that was just like such a cool moment, you know, and I was like thanking God for that abundance of having this particular circle of men that I get to be a part of, that's what we're like sitting around naked in the hot springs talking about, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like that thing of like being free enough to serve, that's wealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's such an essence of Lakshmi, and like that service and that our ability to be of service is like always right here. You know, it's like we can build so many ideas around that or desires around that, and that's natural. But I also feel like it's such a birthright, you know, to serve and to be, you know, awake to that and what that means. So may this, you know, ceremony today really support you in your service and really amplify your service and your voice in the world that we know is really needed. So we're going to do a pranayama practice, a breath practice, and then we're going to do our offerings to the fire. So if you have a candle, if you have some water, definitely having a candle, we'll share with you the mantra. Along with the email we sent out, there's also a video by Dr. Varsha Chowdhury. She's our dearest sister that lives in Pune, India. She's a part of when we do our pilgrimage, which we're doing in January. And we hope if you're feeling the desire, you'll let us know.
Also, I don't know if we have any spots left also.
Yeah, I think we
too
have
enthusiastic
like
about inviting people.
But I still want you to let us know anyway. But because we're almost filled. But anyway, she shared a video with us. So I also want to put in the chat just a way if you want to share any donations with Varsha. She has a counseling center called Awakened Living in Pune, where she shares both spiritual counseling, and she's also a psychologist, and she works with a lot of girls and women and men working with addiction there in Pune. And she has a really beautiful practice, very full practice seeing clients there. So we always like to share that, her PayPal with you. Let me just grab that really quick. And then do you want to get the fire set?
Yes.
It's okay. Might do that. And if you want to, just move your body around a little bit, stretch, look away from the screen unless you're typing, just like take a little moment to orient to where you are in the space. Stand up, stretch, shake it out. Okay, so this is when you go to PayPal, you have to search Varsha's name. I'll put the meeting group chat. Okay, cute. Okay, sorry. Oh, that's not the right link, but that's Robin Renee's chant of Lakshmi. That's really great. So you should have that too. Sorry. I'm like underwater right now. So doing these kind of things is not easy for me. And I asked Alex, but I don't know if Alex is here. So I'm just gonna do this. Okay. So if you search this on PayPal, you'll find Varsha if you want to donate. We'd love, she'd love that, of course. We'd love that. She doesn't actually care, it seems like, when I talk to her about it, but I know that I would, we're grateful for Varsha. So, okay. So what we're offering, what we're feeding the fire today is some ghee. We have ghee in this cup, this bowl. In this bowl, we have rice and herbs. So there's some rose petals and different kinds of herbs, and then also some rice that we'll be feeding the fire. And same thing on that side, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So
This is a very informal, I always like to say, this is
Yeah.
a very informal kind of fire offering. We're not following all of there's many things that the Vedic science has figured out with this, and they have very elaborate, very specific fire ceremonies. That's not what we're doing. This is a devotional home style fire ceremony that we're doing.
So I'll invite all of us to just find something in our space to let our eyes rest on that feels pleasant or natural. And just take a couple of deep inhales through your
this is sandalwood paste, by the way.
So letting yourself take a couple breaths just into your seat, feeling the parts of your body that are touching the surface. And you could even just let your hips wiggle and take a audible exhale. Just let your head and your neck move side to side. So your neck knows it can move. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Ooh. And just let your body know it can move, and whatever it is that you're carrying in your body, from your root chakra, your pelvic diaphragm, up to your sacrum, up into your solar plexus, up into the middle space of your heart, up to your throat, your jaw, all the energy in your neck. Grief, it lives in our body, right? We were talking about the generosity of spirit and the generosity of grace through this channel of Lakshmi. And like I said, grief is really part of the process of clearing us in the ways that we're here to really be impacted by life and by what's happening in life. And like what Harshada was sharing, pulling us deeper into that service. So if you'd like to let your eyes close, you can do that, or let them rest on your flame. And just take 3 inhales and exhales in and out of your nose, and just lengthen the breath. Allowing your own unique relationship to the divine, to the mother, be honored as sacred. Letting all of your human experience and suffering be offered as fuel to this fire service. And then just let your breath be natural. Notice where there's any constriction in the body. And if you're feeling in any way overwhelmed by the energy in your body, you can grab a pillow and hold a pillow to your chest. Or even let your head and your neck rest back on something as you sit or lean back as you receive the energy of this prayer today. And may all the benefits and the fruits of this practice be for the good of all beings, and the most vulnerable and the most impacted by all the systemic oppression.
And, under this full moon, in this moment together, and the power of the circle that we're in, I want to invite everyone to really come up with a specific intention for this ceremony. This is a type of desire called sankalpa. It's an intention. In formal fire ceremonies, you actually recite it out loud.
Mm.
And I'll say what mine is. Mine is about the trip that I'm about to embark on. Part of it is very personal, just that my body is protected and that I stay healthy enough so that I can really receive a message from my divine supervisors, about my service for the next 30 years. I'm going to say an intention.
I feel like what I shared right before was my intention.
I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, I feel like in this moment, the grace that I've been given to even still be alive is really rooted in this essence of the mother, this essence of fire, and all the many ways and many teachers. I want to really offer this to the teachers and the many streams of love that have entered my life over all these years that allow me to be of service.
And what's the desire?
To offer this back to them, to offer this grace back to them. Ready? So the mantra, Alex, you can put it in the chat that we're going to do. And if anybody wants to share their prayers in the chat, please do, but we can also have time to do it after. So the mantra is Om Shrim Maha
Maha.
Lakshmi Namaha. Om Shrim Mahalakshmi Namaha. Oh. So that's what we're going to do 108 times. You're welcome to do it out loud with us in silence. You're welcome to pray in your own language and in this same rhythm of offerings. And we're going to start with a few prayers to Ganesha, the spiritual guardian and protector. And do the Gayatri Ganesha. Om Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayata. Om Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayata. Om Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayata. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prachodayata. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prachodayata. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prachodayata. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. 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 Om Shri Mahalakshmiye 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 Namaha.
Go for it.
Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Inviting this relationship to the sacred fire to offer you a message, a symbol. You can ask your relationship to the Divine Mother for a message, a symbol. You can offer any and all of your helplessness, your rage, your grief, your love, your hope, your courage. And just letting this time deepen how you can receive her medicine, her grace, her power of transformation. About the honoring of her fire, of her waters, her earth, of her soils. There is no life. She gives us, and she gave us this life. And so, we would love to just hold some space and hear from you and hear anything that came through or is coming through. If you want to just stay in more of a contemplative space, obviously you're welcome, or if you want to write in your own space, but we would love to hear from you or anything else you want to share, Harshada. And yeah, anything you would like to offer into this space. And we always like to invite people that are maybe new to the community that haven't shared a lot. Alex, hi Alex, you're here now. I saw you pop in, but Alex, if there's any prayers that you want to share into the space, we'd love to receive them. No pressure. Also, Jackie, always love receiving your prayers, but no pressure. Yeah. Thank you all for being here and for creating such a, potent cauldron to connect into.
I can something that hit from what you guys said today before the ceremony. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now. Hi, Bella.
Oh, perfect. Hello, everybody.
If you're driving, pay attention to where you're going. Don't look at
Don't worry, I got it. But what felt the most potent to me with all the information that was coming through and all the things you guys said, the most was being free enough to be in service. Like that one hit so strong when you said that, because I feel like that's already been coming through in the field, in the energy, that I feel like I was trying to free myself in a way that I could be in service. That you put it so nicely and so clearly. It just like dinged my brain, like lit it like a light bulb. So that was the one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bella.
And it's like, it's so important. It's so important that people like you all, like we all, feel empowered and blessed and what's the word?
Protected.
Like, no, yeah, protected, but no, what I'm trying to say is that you feel empowered and blessed, and like you have the permission to invest in yourself. Because there's the other side of that spectrum where people in spirituality are just completely self-absorbed. And it's just all about me, 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 me. That, okay, let's put that aside. That's not us. But that you're not going to attain anything for the collective by just wiping yourself out. That like each of you is like a warrior. Each of you is in a really important unit that needs to be a strong and clear unit. And that takes investment. It takes practice. It takes investment. It takes like investing in yourself, healing what you need to heal, grieving what you in order to do that. And just that we feel permission to have a sankalpa that is about us. That's like, I want to go to graduate school. I want to, whatever. I want to get this job that I'm trying to get, not just for me, but this job is going to empower me to serve in a different way. It's like that you have permission to do that. And that's a lot of what Lakshmi's energy is about.
Yeah. Yeah. What else?
I can say something.
Great.
Hi, everyone.
Louisa.
Thanks for the space. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. The Sakapa that came to me, and it seems like every day it changes a little bit, was a trust. I trust in my ability to serve those who can benefit from my gifts. And I think there's that is like this finding the people to serve, and I'm doing an event tonight here in the East Bay. I've been doing the sound healings, the sound baths, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful space, beautiful community, and we create such an amazing atmosphere. And sometimes we're like, it's the day before, and we only sold 4 tickets, and there's always like this tension is like, is there anyone coming? Are we gonna be able to pay the rent?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, like there's always at least 20 people that come, and it doesn't even matter if 7 people come, you see what happens, how they come in and how they leave. And it's so beautiful. And today I signed up to do the grounding meditation, and I'm really in my head about it. And I have to sit down and, make something happen, channel something that will make me feel solid enough so I can do it and not feel like a fool. So yeah, I just have to. So this is really helpful. I've been really missing a friend that died a couple years ago. Today, I woke up thinking about her. Did a big fire here too in my ramekin, and heard some things, and a lot of tears came through. And October 7th is a very, very hard day for all of us, for sure, as well. So yeah, that's what came true, and thank you all. Free Palestine.
Yeah, Free Palestine. Thank you, Louisa. Yeah. And just feeling, also how beautiful, because everyone in this space is a healer, a helper, we're caregivers, we're caretakers, we're overgivers. I like to say, if you're new to our community, we're definitely a community of overgivers. And I feel like it's good to go to places where there's overgivers and take refuge. And so I love what you're bringing in, because this is, we can all relate to that, right? And also relate to it's always the perfect group, and God, brings us the people we're meant to serve, and it is enough. And it's also it's a struggle. And like you said, I love what you said of okay, put something together and show up and not feel like a fool. And I immediately thought I feel like a fool all the time. Sure. And feeling like a fool is the humbled part of being of service for me. And I'm sure probably for many of us too. You're okay, this is part of the churning and the burning and the, and the giving ourselves over as imperfect, humans, and also people who care so deeply. So thank you for sharing your wisdom and your words. Appreciate you and your grief. Thank you. Yes. Anyone else want to share any any questions or any prayers or anything that came to you from the fire, from the goddess.
I'll share. Hi, this is my first class with you guys on Zoom. So I have, hi, it's good to see you again. I lately have been noticing in my physical body, it's like this tangled knot of yarn in my sacral area that's just, it's yeah, stuff I have to sort through, stuff I have to do for myself, and it's so much easier for me to give that space to other people. But that's been very present in my awareness lately. But what I was shown was a spinster, like someone spinning yarn. And what I wrote is to spin the grief into something like the spider. When it unravels, it can be channeled somewhere, and I must let it unravel because it's safe to, because I'm different now. So I guess what was helpful for me with like the difference between how I was experiencing it before and now, it's almost like when I would start to pull it out, it would just kind of like go everywhere. And so I have this feeling of like I can put an intention into it. I can go slower, and it can weave something different and new in my life.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And the other thing, and I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to intuitively be prophetic for Ava. This isn't specifically to Ava, but just this is in general. It might apply to Ava also. But sometimes when we have something like that, like she described, so I love that, the way that she described that, like a ball of yarn in her sacral area. And like we'll have those. Like for me, I'll feel like this kind of like pit of sorrow in my belly. Sometimes it's something to work with. Sometimes it's just a habit. Sometimes it's like I've been walking around with this thing for so long, and actually this shit isn't even connected to anything anymore. I'm just used to walking around with like this pit of sorrow in my belly. Oh, let's just let it go. Like, let's just give it over to the goddess. Let's just pranayama it. Let's just body temple it. You know, like sometimes, not always, sometimes we have to work with it and weave it into something. Sometimes we have to go in and like really excavate and like see what all that is about. Sometimes we can just be done with it also. And just to say that it's always worth it to check, because sometimes it's just a loose tooth that's like ready to fall out. Sometimes we don't even realize it when it goes, but when you do, it feels really good too.
Yeah. And I love the imagery of the web, you know, it's like, it's so beautiful. And I just shared in my Substack yesterday, and I feel like, Ava, do you have Italian ancestry? I'm just making a random guess.
I do. I talked to Greg about that actually at yeah.
I feel like, you know, I mean, you could go read more about it. I'm not going to get into Italian shamanism right now, but you know, there's a lot of potent medicine in the imagery, and the spider as the mother and as the goddess, and you know, the webs that we are weaving and the webs that we're unweaving, and trusting, you know, the web that we're held in that, you know, broader sense. Like you know, I feel like you used to have a teaching about you know, how poignant the strings of a web are, you know, it's like how potent and how powerful, you know, of like what they capture, and, you know, but how fine and like how intricate, right? Like this essence of our being, you know, and in that web, and what we create when we are together as a web, you know what I mean? And how we are like, like, just look at how many people are here right now, you know what I mean? And then you go out and it's like, to find, you know, where our webs are is also how we, you know, cultivate and spread like true protection and liberation, you know, for the most vulnerable too. I mean, you know, it's hard to not bring it into that context over and over, because that's the reality that we're living in now. But even on that spiritual sense, I feel like it's Definitely. So potent to connect to. And
also be aware of whose web you're in, because sometimes we're caught in other people's webs. They've Spider-Man'd us with their desire or with their jealousy or with their, that's the other piece of the Italian shamanism thing too, is like the evil eye and like, you know, getting cursed and like expelling that venom,
Yeah.
you know, of the spider as well. But like, yeah, like when we're asleep spiritually, and we're all on a spectrum, you know, none of us are totally awake. Hopefully none of us are totally asleep. We get webby. I'm not talking about the webs that we weave out of our sankalpa and all of that. We just get fucking cobwebby, you know, and a lot of the practice is degunking, you know, those old cobwebs off too, and paying attention. Like I have an amazing healer. His name's David Elliott. And he identified that I had been Spider-Man by some people. And he helped me to kind of like untangle my subtle being from those webs. And then he said, and go back to your house and just see if there are a lot of, like here where we live, there's a lot of spider webs. He's like, and just be respectful and just say, this is too much. You're like, he goes, I bet you have a lot of webs around your house. Sure enough.
We got a lot of spiders here.
I went home but on that day, the whole house was just covered in spider webs.
Yeah.
And he said, just go around really respectfully and just like remove them and just say, guys, this is too much.
Yeah. And it's like, that's so intricate, right? And then in other moments, it's like, there's spiders there and we're like listening to the message and receiving her medicine. And you know what I mean? And in other moments, you're like, shit, the fucking house is wrapped up, bro. Like, we gotta fucking clean some shit up, you know, like it's just so, you know, it's just that's why it's like modalities and spiritual fucking capitalism and, you know, colonialism and all these ways of just like taking and taking and taking and then making something this like one fucking thing that just like takes more, you know what I mean? It's just
the
like
spider card. What does it mean? I got the spider card today. Like, what is it, you know?
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just like, you know, it's so subtle and it's so potent how subtle we can be actually, you know what I mean? And even in how big we feel. I really like, yeah, I love that. It's
and like
simple.
a really simple thing, like, because today I'm going, so I'm just like being a very generous, just give it away. Really simple formula. All you have to do is, if you're clear about what your sankalpa is in life, you just have that clarity, and then you just try to fulfill it, and you see how easy or how hard it is to fulfill it. Therein is your work. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Then you know when the spider web is the beneficial thing, then you know if you're getting stuck. It's simple. It's as simple as that. If you're hearing that today, you can ride that all the way to like wherever you want to go. We can. We can.
Yeah. Excited about vagina. The vagina of the goddess. It's just what was coming into my brain when you were saying that. Into the mother of God. Say it that way. And also, we want to hear from a couple more people, but I also want to say, because 'tis the season, almost Scorpio season. I mean, we're so in Libra season, but all my Libra placements are in the 8th house. So I experience Libra as, you know, all things Scorpionic. But it's the season to, like, you know, speaking of spider webs and ancestors, you know, this is the season to feed those people, you know, to feed the people outside, literally in your neighborhood and your communities. Literally have people over and just feed them. That's like a thing anybody can do. And of course, feeding the people that need to be fed and our ancestors. You know, there's ways of, you know, we have on our altar, you know, water, you know, the elements. And then, you know, there's seasons where, you know, offering some of your food to the goddess and also offering to your ancestors, your blood ancestors, your spiritual ancestors. And, you know, offerings, you know, are a big part of how we, you know, keep our energetic, you know, it's not just like practices for protection, but it's like being proactive, you know, in our practices to keep things, you know, clear and to keep things in relationship. You know what I mean? Because it's not about like this idea of like spirituality being like this perfect thing and then you're protected and like, I don't even fucking know what that means. You know what I mean? But it's more like when we're in relationship too, there's a natural protection. I do know what it means, but I don't care. That's what I'm saying. There's a natural protection when we're in relationship, even to like the most fucking demonic, terrible parts of myself. It's like how I'm protected from them the most in my experience. And there's many paths, but is to relate to them, is to learn how to like be in relationship, right? And it's the same thing with ancestors. And, you know, we have amazing, beautiful ancestors. And I know in my blood ancestry, there's terrible fucking ancestors. You know what I mean? So how do we, you know, just keep fostering this culture of relating and relationship, which is the feminine path? And I feel like what the divine mother and the mother earth as goddess, you know, really calls us into relationship with.
And
Yeah.
I just had an idea during the ceremony that I'm just going to share. So while I'm in India, one of the main things that I'm doing is I'm doing a sort of a rebirth ceremony. So a rebirth of myself, mostly like as a teacher and as a yogi. So I'm going to be a Libra.
Oh.
Yeah, for the past 29 years, I've been a Cancer. In that, my birth chart, I'm a Gemini. But
I love that.
like when I got the name Harshada, it was in Cancer. And so I'm going to kind of renew my vows, and it's going to be in Libra season. 15th October is still Libra?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yes. Thumbs up. Yes.
Anyway,
I always forget this.
One of the things I was going to do, and then I realized I might not be able to do, was offer a bandara. So sometimes part of a ceremony is then you sponsor a public feast. And in India, it's a big deal, you know, because there's always a lot of people. And this isn't a professional trip for me. This is something that I'm funding myself. And it just is not as flush as I had hoped to be. But I am going to raise funds. And if you can be a part of it, I'll send an email about it. But I just realized I'm just going to raise funds and have you all sponsor a bandara.
Yeah.
And, you know, you donate $5, $10, whatever it is. And it'll be like a really, really beautiful thing. Yeah. And I'll take pictures and send it and whatever. But and it'll be in one of these like super holy places in India. And we'll just have to figure out which one it's going to be. But yeah, that idea came to me during the fire as I was in the prayer. That was one of the visions that came. Isn't that a cool idea?
I love it.
Because that's a way to, like, you know, not everybody can have the means to come with us on our pilgrimage to India, but this is a small way that you can come along. Bandaras are the coolest thing, by the way. It's the coolest practice. It's I think it's the coolest spiritual practice.
Most powerful.
Because it's like a group of people make a lot of food. I mean, it's in these gigantic containers that you're like stirring with like a
huge pot,
like an oar, like a boat oar. and then there's, you know, depending on where it is and what you're doing, there can be thousands of people that just like line up, and all these people get fed something. Yeah. And sometimes it's really simple, just like delicious khichdi or something like that. Sometimes it's very elaborate, but like, you know, we'll do one sometime. We have to do one with the community sometime. Yeah. Where like we used to do them when I worked in person more. Yeah. Yeah. The cooking of it, we do it a little small one here once a month, but like the cooking of the food and everyone's chanting mantras and it's the coolest practice that there is. And it's really hard to do if you don't have an ashram. It's really hard to do if you're not around a place where there's just huge pots and huge pots and huge groups of people that are not going to be weirded out when you're like, oh, come and have some free food. It's blessed. You know, like, but you can do that. In India, literally, boom, there's 500 people that are just there, like ready for it. Yeah. Yeah. Such a different world. And everybody, it's not just poor people, everybody. If it's like blessed food, every motherfucker, the richest person will be there taking the food in their hand, you know, if it comes from the temple or it comes from the auspicious thing. It's such a high vibe. Love it. Okay, let's hear from a couple more people and then we're gonna go off. Thank you for all of your shares in the chat. I've been really keeping up with a lot of them, and we always have other people here that are, you know, receiving all of it. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, banana leaf plate. Yeah, we love the banana leaf plate. I know. Remember, like we've had things when we did them here, Louise, and we're like, how do we get the banana leaves here? Or does it make sense? Is it ethic? You know, like, you know, just resources. We're like, we need the banana leaves. It's like, oh, so good. So good. Okay, let's hear at least two more. Just unmute if you feel inspired. Any prayers, anything you want to share that you just received from the fire. confirmed I'm a Libra seed. My daughter's a Libra. She just had her 11th birthday.
Mm.
Cut her bangs for the first time.
Perfect.
After a bad day. It's like, oh, it has begun.
Yep, that's what we do. Make shit happen. Move that energy.
I'll share really fast. Hi guys. Just the like reminding yourself or rediscovering or trying to figure out what your purpose, right? Like what resonates with you as your purpose is so grounding for me, because I feel like there's so much chatter, and to be able to still do all that, but knowing that that is there is so like it's like, you know, I don't know what that is even yet, you know, like to that extent, you know, but it's like it just helps with all the chatter, because it's like this like
Know that you don't need everything. You only need what you need
It's an anchor.
for your purpose.
Yeah.
That's also what this is symbolic of. Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you. Glad you're here and good to see you again. Yeah. Love your altar. Feels very vibey on the fire.
Sid says she cut bangs during COVID.
Oh, they come. Oh, yeah. 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 The bangs are a real initiation over and over. As I said, we know how to move that energy. We ain't gonna we gotta move it. I was a hairstylist for 20 years. So, you know, girlies be coming in and I'm like, what happened? Let's talk about it. I'll cut those bangs. I'll dye that. I'll fucking bleach that hair out. No problem. But let's talk about it. What's going on? Let's give it a purpose.
Maybe I should
I dyed my hair complete. I had like a black bowl cut when my father died when I was 24. And I was like, I need to have my hair like completely blonde. Like I just was like, I need to go all the way in the other direction. And I remember I took like 8 hours of just like terrible chemicals in my head, but I did. And I had a blonde bowl cut and then I felt better. You know, you need to control. You got to control what you can control. This is, you know, I'm like, it just makes sense.
Leah said that she could still feel the mantra ringing in her ears. And yeah, Leah, you're going to be with us. Like, wait till we're in Trimbakeshwar doing the fire ceremony.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's like, it's a whole other level. Yeah.
Thanks, Leah, for sharing that. Yeah. Hayam said, I received clear waters pouring over me, shining with emerald and golds and precious earth minerals. My prayers remaining open, steady, and rooted. Sorry. Okay. Rooted in my inherent worth, so I may serve from the overflow of my own soul clarity. Jaya Lakshmi Ma, forever giving streams. Aloha Ma. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Anyone else have I just gotta, but feel like,
I feel very uplifted. This trip for me feels a little daunting, and it has felt a little daunting, and I feel uplifted and like I feel lighter after this for sure, and blessed. I can feel your blessing, so thank you. It's so silent.
it's good.
I'll share something. I wrote it in the chat, but yeah, I just want to offer blessings to those who are specifically to you, Harshada, and in your travel and in your becoming. And also for those who are holding that we knowingness. Whether you're healer, practitioner, or just living, you know, just vibing. I think that it's really important that we all really pray into that we. Really pray into that we, and to those who are holding the knowingness of that we. Because, you know, when the ceremony first started, you were talking about a lot of things that, you know, maybe not in this space, but in a lot of spaces are really challenging to hold. But they're truths, right? So truth is truth. And whether it be because, like Adriana, like you mentioned, and like we live in a capitalistic, you know, all the things. And so we need to polish and present. And there's nothing, well, yeah, there is, but you know, that's one thing. But to be able to really speak on that we, it just creates a transfer of energy that is so important, and it speaks to that web and to that spider and to the yarn, and how if we all can be more conscious about that we shift the energetic dynamic.
Yeah.
So just offering lots of prayers to everyone who organically has that understanding, and prayers to those who are coming into that understanding, and that the fire today and the fires that we individually, you know, offer and create allows us to put any type of guilt or shame or rage into that, so that we can just sit with truth. And something else that you said about like, how are we not all just sitting here with like needles? I mean, I think it speaks to that we, because we don't get to do that.
Yeah.
Those who hold that we don't. So really honoring the both of you in the we. And really thankful to like just be in a space of community where there is that understanding and that space and that ability. And to all the other practitioners and healers, and may we get really clear about what it is that we are here to offer. And may those who are seeking the way that we present or offer our medicine find us with ease. And may we learn to receive with grace.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Yeah, love you. And your prayers are so potent. So thank you. Really grateful for you.
Okay, I have to go pack.
Yes, Harshada has to go pack, and we do this once a month. We have lots of mutual aid that was shared. We always share it in the email. So please donate what you can. If you don't have the funds, you can always share it and learn about what it is, and, you know, investigate more, ask us questions. There's so many beautiful healers in this space. If you need, or if you're like, oh, Jackie, that person that shared, I want to connect with them, you know, can you send me their email? You know, like, just like, let us also serve you in the ways that are going to work for you and that you need, you know. We are so resourced in this particular way. And I don't take that for granted. And I know it's because it's meant to be shared, you know, and there's so many people in this space, and so many beautiful offerings. So okay, if you want to unmute to say bye for now, we'll see you all soon. We'll see you next month for this, and we'll see you in other spaces sooner, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good luck.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Bye.
Blessings on your journey.
Danke.
Thank you. Bye.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Jai Shri Lakshmi, oh, Jai Shri Lakshmi, oh, Jai